now, Mikel has been speaking to the media about a couple of things, especially this game, and how he's happy that it's going to be 100 games ever since he became Arsenal manager. We are also happy. I mean, it's a big land, it's a big landmark for him as a person. So we need to be happy for him because he's a manager. But in the end, I still think Arsenal could have done better, by bringing in a better manager. What do you think, people? I don't know. So Mikel was asked a couple of questions. Let's try to dive into that. Let me just make this bigger so that you can, be able to see it yourselves as well. Okay, so there we go. Sunday's match against Watford will see Mikel Arteta reach a milestone in his management career as he reaches 100 games in charge. Right, he has had a huge amount to contend with during his time with us. So how would he sum up sum it all up? This is what he said. An incredible and big journey. A lot has happened, not only at the football club but around the world. Arteta said, and he said that that obviously has had a huge impact in everything that we have lived in the last 2 years. But I'm so privileged to be where I am, and I am really enjoying the opportunity and the challenge that we have ahead. I said now it is about momentum and trying to pick up and settle those foundations that we want to give us performances and results, but also to build a sense of unity that is building around the club with our people, with our players, and the way we are playing and transmitting, and the way we are playing and transmitting. And for me, this is just as important. So how has Mikel changed over the past 2 years? He says, I think we all update, any year like any computer. He said, with everything that has happened to us, even more so, I am different. I see things differently. You evolve in certain ways. You learn a lot of things. We keep evolving. And he said to experience in something doesn't mean that you've experienced in all things that could happen in the journey, but for sure there have been some necessary things that have happened, some challenges and other beautiful things to go through. But as I said, I am really enjoying the moment and the opportunity that I have ahead of me. Yeah, I mean, 100 games as manager is not something small. And look, I agree. I'm part of the Mikel Arteta out army. Everybody knows that. I'm part of the Mikel Arteta out army. But you've got to congratulate him. You've got to give him a round of applause, because I've already said this, and I don't know if people remember whether he becomes the greatest manager Arsenal has ever had or he becomes a failure. It doesn't matter. But I've already said that Mikel Arteta took up one of the hardest jobs in the world, and we've got to agree to that. He took up one of the jobs that, look, it's not easy to be an Arsenal manager at a point where the team is just drowning, everything is shrinking, at a point where the club is no longer is not even receiving investments from the big boys, at a point where the club is shit. He took over that job as a novice manager, a manager who absolutely had nothing in his head. And he turned things, look, I don't know whether he's turned things around or it's just a little corner that we've turned. But if it goes on like that, a manager that has turned things around, because this is a shit Arsenal. In the past 20 years, this is the worst Arsenal. We've got to agree to this. This is the worst Arsenal in the past 2 decades. It's the worst Arsenal. Look, an Arsenal with a lot of deadwood, an Arsenal without attitude, without passion, without morale, without emotion, without heart, with nothing. It has nothing. And maybe that's the times when that's why when Mikel does something probably positive, Yeah, I don't like him. I feel like it was a very big mistake to hire him. But congratulations, Mikel, on making it 100 games. I hope it's a win. Even if it's a 1-0 win, look, it means a lot. If he wins this game, he's gonna go to top 5. And if Liverpool draw against Manchester United, that means Arsenal will go to their 3rd international break among the top 5. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is progress. The first international break, we were bottom of the table. Bottom of the table. 3 games, 3 losses, no goals scored. The second international break, where were we? I think we were 14th or 11th on the table. I think we were 11th on the table, weren't we? The third international break, we're going to be damn 5th or 6th. If we win this game, top 6. That is our dream this season. Get top 6. 5th goes to Europa League. Does 6th go to Europa League as well? I think. Go back to the Europa League. Yeah, I think he will have done it. So, I mean, congratulations, Mikel. Definitely, congratulations. No hard feelings, no nothing. I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it as manager. Arteta on Smith Rowe's England call-up. He said Smith Rowe's England call-up will come will come with time. So this is what he said. He said Gareth Southgate has to make many difficult decisions. I agree with that. He has so many choices. Our manager said, what I like is that our players are performing at that level that I am sure they are giving problems in selection to Gareth and the coaching staff. That is what pleases me, because I know that they have the level to do it, and it will be about the timing when the manager decides it is the right moment to select them. I think he says, I think Emile should be happy if people are gutted about him not being selected, or people are questioning any decision, because that tells you that the level he's playing at. Like anything that has happened in Emile's career, it will come when it is in the right moment, because we don't know if now is the right moment. Gareth knows much better than us to judge what he thinks about the role that he could have in the team. And if he's decided that it's not the right moment, I'm sure it is. It was a very thoughtful process and the right decision. Wow. Oh, look, one of the things I do enjoy about Mikel Arteta is his press conferences. He lies a lot. He lies a lot, but he also speaks a lot of sense at times. We've got to agree to that. Yeah, he lies a lot, but he also speaks a lot of sense. Look, there's so many people out there that are displeased with Smith Rowe not being called, including me. He should have an England call-up. I think he deserves it. I don't know what I should believe, but I think he deserves it. What do you people think? What do you think? Do you think Emile Smith Rowe should be called up for England? I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it. And that's the point for me. That's the whole point. When Mikel says that when the right time comes, he's gonna be called up. Look at Saka. He's almost a non-negotiable. Look at Ramsdale. It's gonna, for me, Ramsdale is gonna be. It's not going to be just a call-up. We might see Ramsdale becoming England's number 1. And if that happens, I won't be surprised. But like I said at the beginning of the video, it's not easy for Southgate. There's a lot of talent. And I think this was a Laurie on AFTV that said this, that there's a lot of talent currently, around the country. Look, there's so many players that should be, putting Gareth Southgate on under pressure. If Anthony deserves a call-up, doesn't he? He deserves it. But at times the decisions are really not that easy. You don't just throw away the structure. He has to maintain the structure, but he also has to call up these other players that are doing well. So just imagine if Kevin Phillips is dropped and Declan Rice is dropped as well, Mason Mount is dropped. the structure is dying. So what I think Southgate is trying to do is he's trying to accommodate all the new talent, the likes of Watkins, the likes of Ivan Toney, Patrick Bamford. We've seen all of them have their collapse, and we've seen all of them have their opportunity. So what he's trying to do is that he's trying to preserve his structure. Pickford, Calvin Phillips, Maguire, Trippier. Maybe I don't think Chile is part of the structure, isn't he? Is he? Kyle Walker, Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, Bukayo Saka, maybe Jack Grealish. So he has around 9 or 7 names that are not negotiable. Not negotiable because they are royals or anything, but they are the players that form the structure. So for me, Smith Rowe, yes, he's had a very, very, very good match, really decorated. I would, if not for Ramsdale, I would vote Smith Rowe for Player of the Month at Arsenal. But I just can't. Ramsdale has been absolutely fucking good. And so I would go with Ramsdale for Player of the Month. But whoever is chosen, the Arsenal players, and I really want them to do better and to do well. So I've got no problems with anyone being chosen as as Arsenal's best in the month. This man. How about this man? Right. Talk about that man. Right. So with Smith Rowe, I think he'll get the call up. I think he needs to push better. Yes, he doesn't need to mourn. Right. He doesn't need to mourn. He doesn't need to get disappointed. It's all about hard work. He has players like Mason Mount. I think Mason Mount is still better than him. I still feel like Phil Foden is still better than him. I still feel like Jack Grealish is still better than him. So he's got to raise his performances to that level. It's just the call that, look, son, work better than that. Make sure your performances are better than that. And I'm gonna give you a call up, and I think he will get his call up. I won't be surprised if he gets to the World Cup. I won't be surprised if he's among the names that are going to be called up for the World Cup for England if he continues to be that good. He's that good. He's displaced Pepe. He's becoming a non-negotiable in that Arsenal team, right? Because, remember in the summer we said, because if we bring in Martin Odegaard, Smith Rowe is going to be affected. But look, it's now more like Smith Rowe starts and the rest, yada, 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 right? So it shows that it's becoming a non-negotiable. If he makes himself a non-negotiable, in that Arsenal side, then Southgate will definitely choose him. I'm telling you, Southgate will definitely have to choose him. He's gonna call him up. So no hard feelings, no nothing on that. I know Southgate is a good man. He's gonna call him. He's gonna call him up. He will call him up. He just needs to do his thing. For me, that's it. He needs to do his thing, and I know he will eventually get the call up. Right. Let's move on with Mikel's press conference and see what else he talked about. Right, the team news and everything. On what Mikel wants from his squad, he said, "What I'm demanding is that we keep improving and keep good performances that will lead us to good results, and that we maintain the same unity and togetherness around the squad, and we are able to transmit that in games and every day in training. If we do that, we will keep getting better and better and better." Yeah, every team, in every squad, there is that that has to be demanded. You've got to keep on getting better and better. On our good record against Watford, he said every game is different. They have a new manager, a team that needs wins as we do. And in this league, any team can cause problems, can beat you, can always have to be, and you have to always be aware of that. Yeah, he's right. He's right. Really cannot disagree with that. They're under now a manager that has won the Premier League, by the way. Let's speak about Ranieri, Claudio Ranieri for a moment. This lad, no disrespect, this lad has won the Premier League with Leicester City. That was 2015-2016, wasn't it? Yeah. Was that? Was it that? Not 2016? I think it was 2015-2016. That's the season. So look, and Mikel is right. Now they have a manager who understands the league, but they also have a manager that is experienced enough. So we can't look down on them. The form is there. The form is good. Oh, how I love our form against Watford. But our record against Watford. But doesn't really mean a lot. We've got to work hard. We've really got to. So they have a manager, and he could prove to be a big problem. On Watford's form this season, he said they have an incredible run last year, and to do what they did, and now they have changed the manager. It is always difficult in this league for any team. So imagine coming from the Championship is even harder. But it's a team. But it is a team that has been for many years in the league. They are our neighbors next to us, and they are really tough to beat, especially this season. Yeah, especially this season, they are really tough to beat. Especially this season, they are really tough to beat. Right. What else did he say? Yeah, on Kian Tierney and Granit Xhaka's fitness, he said Kian Tierney has been training for the last 2 days. He's been feeling much better, so hopefully he will be available. Yes. So Kian Tierney could be back. I hope that is a point of happiness, right? I hope that is a point of happiness to many Arsenal fans. All right. On if Tierney will play for Scotland next week, he said, "Let's see in the next 2 training sessions how he's feeling. He has done bits with the team, but he's not fully trained yet. So in the next 2 days, we will see how he is and where his fitness will be." On the competition between Tierney and Tavares, yes, man. Actually, look, we are gonna unleash a couple of series, a series of debates on the channel, and I think that should be during the international break. But I think we need to discover the truth. Should it be Tavares? Should it be Tierney? Right? Okay. And he said, hopefully, we can have more of those dilemmas between Tierney and Tavares. He said, we can have more of those dilemmas. We have top players performing at top level in many positions, because that only raises the quality, the standards, and the performance of the team. All right. And I'm gonna ask you this question, people. Right? I'm going to ask you this question. Yeah, exactly. Do you think we should be playing Tierney, or do you think we should be playing Nuno Tavares? Tavares is also such a very, very young potential talent. Just like Tierney. Tierney is also a very, very good player. Very traditional, though, but very good. And he's a complete, full package. Goes forward, creates trouble. Defensive wise, he's another very good player. Would you prefer Tierney? Would you prefer Nuno Tavares? I'm not entering that debate. I think I will. We'll get that into the Arsenal. We'll get into that during the Arsenal the Super Arsenal podcast. I think round 3. We've taken a long time without having it. I think I should do it. I should do one tomorrow with Glenn, and then probably I should do another with some of you people on Aaron Ramsdale and whether it should be England's number 1. He said, I'm really happy for him to see him back there in the squad, and the rest is a decision that Gareth and the coaching team has to make. What Aaron has to do is to keep performing at that level and be humble. Other decisions are done by someone else. On Smith Rowe and White not being able to to be called up in the England squad, he said again, Gareth Southgate has so many decisions to make. He has so many choices. What I like is that our players are performing at that top level, and I'm sure they're giving problems in selection to Gareth Southgate. On summing up his 100 games in charge, he said an incredible journey and a big one. Of course, a lot has happened, not only at the football club but around the world. That obviously has changed the world and has had a very huge impact in everything that we have lived in the way that we have lived in the last 2 years. On whether he feels things are coming together now. Okay, brilliant question. He said, yes, this is about momentum and trying to pick it up and settle those foundations that we want to give us performances and results, but also to build a sense of unity that is building around the club. And just to make sure that question is answered directly, he's saying yes, things are coming around. I wish we don't go back. I don't wish to see Arsenal losing 5 games in a row, losing 6 games in a row, going 4 games without a win. We could lose to United, we could lose to Liverpool, we could lose to Watford. But if we lose to Watford, can we get a point against Liverpool, or can we get a point against Manchester United? That's what we want. Momentum is not about not losing games. It's all about how do you bounce back. We are going to lose a game. And that's another big test. When we lose a game, when we draw, it was a very, very good experience against Crystal Palace because we put in a very, very dead performance in the second half. But we bounced back against Villa, we bounced back against Leicester City, and now we are back on the road. 9 games unbeaten, no competition. That is something really interesting. So to answer the question for Mikel, yes, there is momentum. Things are coming around, but we need to go like 15 games. We need to have 15 games. Just imagine 15 games, 1 loss. Or 15 games, 2 losses. That means a lot, right? That means a lot. So, and I'm really happy for him. On Antonio Conte's arrival and whether Arsenal fans will be worried, he said, well, first I would like to send a message to Nuno and his coaching staff, because it is always tough to see a colleague leave the job, and Nuno done extremely well in his country and has proven to be a top manager. They have made a decision to bring in somebody else. We know that he has we know that he has a really successful past in the last 2 jobs, and we will see how he does here. Right? Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's something to be scared of. There is something to be scared of. And that is the fact that our rivals have got a better manager than we have. Yeah. They do not have a better squad, but if they think about bringing in 3, because for me, to correct Spurs, you need 3 players. You need a decent centre-back. They have a decent goalkeeper already. Bring in a decent centre-back. Bring in a decent number 10. And make sure that Harry Kane believes in whatever thing you want to do. They are good to go. They have a top-class striker. They need a top-class number 10 like Eriksen. Things will be fine. But Arsenal fans shouldn't be worried. Spurs are always Spurs, right? On Eddie Howe, potentially taking over at Newcastle. He said, I don't know, until anything is announced, I can't really have an opinion yet. But for me, if Eddie Howe talks over Newcastle, it's gonna be shit. They need to get a better manager. That is me being like, this guy of big pundit, right? Big pundit. On the caliber of managers in the Premier League, he said it's incredible. Yes. When you think there are many more who are at the top, world-leading managers, but I think that is incredible. That it is incredible positive for our league, because it raises the level as it brings new ideas. The competition, it will be even harder, but as well we have to bear in mind that we have some really good examples in Neil Warnock, in David Moyes, and what they have done in the game. For example, Neil beating the record in terms of the longest serving games, and the history of David doing 1,000 games, and we cannot lose sight. And we cannot lose sight of that, because it is related to the history of this game, and they have done so much in this league for us as well. On whether it will be harder to get top 4 now, that Conte has arrived, he said, "I think it will be for any team to be fighting for the top positions. There are so many games to go. A lot will happen. You see results and performances and how games vary from one half to another, with moments in the game that tells you the quality that is here in terms of players and managers." On how Emile is feeling about on being called up for the squad, I'm not really gonna read that because I think it's just a regurgitation. On how he's changed from his first game as a manager, he said, "I think we all update any app like any computer with everything that has happened to us. Even more, I'm different. I say things differently. You evolve in certain ways. You learn a lot. We keep evolving." All right. Okay, on backup still being without a manager and what that means for the Premier League compared to La Liga, he said, "I don't know, they're just different. You see the Spanish clubs, the results they have had in the last few seasons is remarkable. I'm really happy to be where I am, enjoying this incredible league, the setup, the atmosphere, the passion, and everybody being back to normalcy. That should be the word. This is probably the most competitive season that the Premier League has ever had." Could be right. Could be right. Could be right. Could be right. Couldn't he? Yeah, he could be right. On whether top four is a possibility, he said, "I don't know. I don't know how difficult it is going to be. We have the aim to win every single match, and we have to only have that mentality. Try to be better today. Try to be more prepared for the Watford game, and go there with the right mentality, ambition, and determination to win it and move on to the next one. But we have to go game by game in this league. You cannot try to project something. It is impossible, and I wouldn't really recommend it." On Ramsdale's save against Leicester City, he said it was essential. But what I liked the most was the reaction from the other teammates getting back and Thomas clearing the ball off the line. Because if Ramsdale makes that save, but they end up putting the ball in the net, it wouldn't stand for anything. So it is not about a player; it's about the team, and everybody's involved. In that. I'm happy because we prevented a big moment in that game. On Nuno Espirito Santo and whether managers deserve more time to turn results around, he said, the motherfucker saying, he said, "I do not know to make a judgment on why decisions are made. It depends only. It depends only because of a result, or if it's performances, or if it's something else. It's very difficult. I've seen many times that I'm grateful and privileged to work with people that I work with at the club, and that we have a clear idea of what we want to be. But again, like any manager at the club, like any manager at the end, you need results." On Claudio Ranieri, and whether he thinks. On Claudio Ranieri and whether he thinks he could still be managing at 70. Okay, he said, "I need that recipe, how they have done it, as well. It's very interesting to understand what happened in their families, because I think they would have to have outstanding wives, kids, and family around them to be able to do that for such a long time. But for David Moyes, I am extremely happy for him because I know him and I admire him personally. It's great. It's great, I think, for British football to have these managers. On Albert Sambi Lokonga, and I think that should be, it should be the last one we are taking. On Albert Sambi Lokonga, I said, yes, Sambi has shown, Sambi has shown great, really quick adaptation, a lot of intelligence in the game, and courage. He's a player that is constantly trying to affect the game in the right way, and obviously a couple of others. But on the team news, before we actually go from here, on Kian Tierney left ankle, Tierney sustained bruising to his ankle during the match against Crystal Palace on October 18th. He's being assessed ahead of the Sunday game. And Granit Xhaka, he has a right knee injury. Granit is making good progress in the initial stages of his recovery from a medial knee ligament injury sustained on September 26th. The current aim is for Granit to come back to be back in full training early in the next year. So that's it. Arsenal and all the news and everything around the club. So that's Mikel Arteta's press conference. That is our team news. Definitely, there's nothing we have missed. It's been a long press conference, really, really long press conference. But that's it. That's it. Nothing much. Nothing much. I've not really left anything out. If anyone is concerned, I've not really left anything out. If anyone is concerned, not really left anything. Not really left anything out. Right. That is the predicted lineup we went for. That is our predicted lineup that we went for. We're gonna touch on Watford in the last minutes of this, and we shall call it a video. It's gonna be almost 1 hour, so it's gonna take a lot of time to upload and a lot of time to process. So I want it to be strictly 1 hour or less than 1 hour. So with Watford, they have a new manager, and that manager is Claudio Ranieri. I think it's a manager. I think it's a point, by the way. It's a very, very big point, because he's a manager that has won the league, a manager that has a lot of experience. He's clocking 70. So a manager with a lot of experience, a lot of pedigree, and we know with Mikel, despite the fact that he's had, his team built well, and they're gaining the momentum and things like that, it still has the disadvantage of lacking pedigree, especially against managers like Klopp, Ranieri, the Leeds manager, Michel Bielsa. So I mean, pedigree is a very, very big thing in the Premier League and in the game. Someone who has really, a good pedigree, stands a higher chance. But I don't think Watford will stand a higher chance. One of the things, we can look at about Watford is their performance and how they line up. Right. Let's look at that. Let's just have a look at that. Right. Let's have a look at that. How they line up and how they've been performing, throughout the seasons. Watford, where are you? Here we go. Right, so that is how they lined up in their last game against Southampton. Played Ben Foster in goal with the back four of Messina, Cathcart, Trust Ekong, and Ngakia. So that is their back four. They play Sarr, Sissoko, Kuka, and Hernandez in a midfield four. And then the two up front is always JP and Joshua King. What you have to know about this team is they have some good talent in there. Ismail Sarr, is one of them. Joshua King is another one. I think Jay Hernandez is another one. And Moses Sissoko. Obviously, we all know, what Moses Sissoko means to the team. Moved from Tottenham Hotspur to Watford. I think things really didn't work out, at Spurs. Didn't really become that, blossoming flower of a midfielder they expected him to be. But the fact that they have such names is a worry to us now, and it's a worry to our team. But we can maintain them. They've only won 3 games this season and lost 6. So I think they're beatable. They can lose this game. We can win this game like 1-0, 2-1. They really score. So I expect them to score. So I think it could be 2-1 or 3-1 in favor of Arsenal Football Club. Give me a prediction in the comments below, and I'll speak to you very, very soon. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Why not? See you. Speak to you very, very soon.